It would seem that every few years the mantle of extremely popular cube game changes. You know what I'm talking about. You'll be playing a game and then all of a sudden someone will ask you what you're playing. And you'll be all, I'm playing Battlebit. And they'll say, oh, this looks like that other block game. That term, block game, also sometimes called cube games. I think there might be something there. It's like people just can't get enough of simple games with endless fun. Over the years, many games have tried to take the title of that year's block game. Battlebit is just the latest to take the title. But I thought I would take some time to talk about cube games of days past. There are a few that instantly might come to mind when I say the term cube game. Of course, I'm talking about the extremely popular Castle Miner Z. This game is a What? Not Castle Miner? Oh, right, sorry. I was thinking of Minecraft now. I don't know how I get them mixed up. Anyways, so let's get the monolith out of the way first, and then we'll cover some of the others I think that fit the description. That description being blocky 3D worlds. Not necessarily survival games, but, you know. Minecraft, a name that just about everyone has heard. It might boggle the mind to think how popular this little Swedish game has become. I watched it grow from a sapling into a mighty oak, and then get chopped down, and eventually replanted, and debatably chopped down again. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. In reality, I think Minecraft's staying power as a cube game is almost unrivaled. All that try die out to the fact that Minecraft already exists, and is usually better or has more to offer. And for those that I guess aren't aware, Minecraft is a little game about cubes, the end. Alright, it's a bit more than that. Minecraft started out as a side project of a man named Marcus Persson, also known as Notch. Initially, it first went public in 2009, but at this point, it was nothing more than a testing bed for things to be added. It was a simple game back then with a small fandom, but after the game was fully released on November 18, 2011, the game's popularity started to grow rapidly. With over 200 million sales, the game has proven itself among other QB games. This game was so popular, even its mobile version had multiple knockoffs. Not to say that just being a 3D cube game makes you a knockoff, but I know that when I see a game in that style, my first thought is, oh, it looks like Minecraft. And I think that really shows Minecraft's power over the cube games. There is something about its peaceful, slow gameplay that lets you explore your ambitions to the fullest. I remember seeing videos of build projects go viral in the early YouTube days. Fire UK is the group I remember the most, and they built crazy things that inspired me back then and hold up pretty well today. And even hold up pretty well by today's standards. Multiplayer was of course the main reasons for Minecraft's huge popularity. Just playing with a few friends almost completely changes the experience. But nowadays servers are massive, with some reaching over 20,000 players. And don't even get me started on mods. I'd like to do a whole video discussing modding in games at some point, so maybe subscribe if that sounds interesting to you. I think we all get the picture on Minecraft, so I'm going to move on to some other games I think fit that description of blocky looking game. A smaller game that I remember being huge for like a couple of months was Onturn. This was a survival game set during a zombie apocalypse, and most importantly, looks blocky. It never grew to the impossible heights of Minecraft, but I at least wanted to give it a bit of attention, because I remember my friend group playing it a lot when it first came out. You would spawn in and almost immediately be killed by some zombies, but if that didn't happen, you would start to explore your surroundings and grab some loot. After that, you could sort of just walk around the map and maybe start building a base. You could get cars to help you get around and store more weapons. There were a few different maps you could play on, and each one varied in size. I remember people calling this game Minecraft DayZ when it first came out, and honestly that description fits it pretty well. There was an XP system that allowed you to slowly make your character stronger, and with the base building you could build just about anything you wanted. The problem I think the game had was that there was no real endgame, so eventually players just lost interest. It still has around a 60 to 70k player base, so it's not dead or anything, it's just not that popular. So maybe check it out if it sounds interesting to you. I don't really have much else to say about this one, so I'm just gonna move on to the next, if that's alright. Alright, this game is, again, another monster in the blocky art style, and I probably should have talked about it first, honestly. It even rivals Minecraft in its popularity. Roblox. Alright, now, some of you might be laughing at me right now for even talking about Roblox, but hey, look at the numbers. people probably play Roblox more than your current most played game. I sort of want to do a whole video talking about the weird events in Roblox because there's so frickin' many. But for now, let's just cover the basics. Roblox is an insanely popular free-to-play game creation tool and game platform. It was originally released in 2006 and began to grow rapidly during 2010. Since then, it has gained a staggering amount of players, with over 4 billion accounts created and around 70 million daily users. So, what do the games look like? They must be pretty crazy, right? Alright, in all seriousness, because of Roblox's nature, games on the platform might vary in quality just a bit. Anybody can make a game on the platform, and some people use it to make some pretty fun to explore experiences or hellish meme games. Every now and then a massive game will release on the platform and blow people away, like this Call of Duty game made in the Roblox engine. During the early days of Roblox, most of the games were simple, blocky worlds with varied gameplay, including first-person shooters, obstacle courses, or just walking around the map and exploring. There were a fair share of the meme games in the early days too, like this one just called Experience Gravity, where you would just walk off of an edge and fall forever. One problem that has often been talked about in the community has been the predatory microtransactions in this game. Because the game is mostly targeted at children, it is pretty easy to scam or manipulate them into purchasing Robux. Other than that, and the chat being kind of annoying to use, I think Roblox is full of opportunities for game nights with some friends and whatnot. My friends and I sometimes get on just to look at stupid games to play every now and then, and usually have a blast. Speaking of blasts, I think I can move on to the next game to cover. The latest in a long line of popular blocky games, Battlebit proves that you don't need crazy graphics to be a popular, great game. For those that don't know, Battlebit is basically a 127v127 blocky version of Battlefield, and it recently started gaining popularity on Twitch and YouTube. The game released a few weeks ago into early access and already has a lot going for it. First of all, the game already has 19 maps, and they're currently adding more. That's more than most AAA games have, period. And most of these maps are pretty big, with points of interest dotted around each map, and the ability for each of the 6 classes to play their role pretty easily. Yeah, that sorta means that snipers are everywhere all the time, but it's not that bad. Most of the classes are similar to the ones in Battlefield, but there are a few extra here. You've got the squad leader, which is basically the assault class, but with the ability to direct the squad to the objective. And later on they plan to add airstrikes that this class will be able to call in. Next up, the assault class. This is the default class and is the most basic / starting learning class. However, they do have access to some interesting gadgets like the sledgehammer and grappling hook. The sledgehammer allows you to just blow through walls, and the grappling hook allows you to get on top of buildings. It's pretty useful. Pretty good, but the next class I think is the best. The medic is basically in a tier of its own. This class can revive players faster and heal themselves and allies. Being able to heal yourself is an amazing survivability perk that no other class has, and can lead to extremely long lives and high scoring on the leaderboard. They also have access to almost all weapon classes, but most importantly they can use SMGs and PDWs. These weapons are basically overpowered in meta right now, and they're extremely good. They kill fast, reload fast, and shoot fast. This allows the medic to hold their own while in the front line of battle, and survive longer with the ability to self-heal. Next up is the engineer, my personal favorite. This class can utilize the most weapon classes, and is generally the anti-vehicle class. They have access to rocket launchers, a repair tool, and the ability to construct defenses like walls and barricades. I really like using the DMRs in this class, but being able to use almost anything else makes this class very versatile. The support is the next class and is the heavy weapons guy. It is the only class that can use LMGs and light support guns, and I found it pretty meh. It's not a bad class, it does have one other major thing going for it. It can throw down heavy ammo kits and supply the whole team. This is sort of a non-factor in most cases I've found though, because I've only ever run out of ammo like 3 times. Time to kill in this game is this class's worst enemy, unfortunately, and I don't think that the weapons on this class are that great. They generally have too much bounce and can barely shoot straight past 100 meters. If you set up somewhere with a bipod and have good sight lines, you might have some fun, but I usually get sniped. Speaking of sniped, The Recon class is the last one to cover. This class is all about sitting just outside of the front line and picking off enemies, or counter-sniping. This is the only class that has access to the sniper rifles, and at certain ranges can one-shot anybody with a body shot. To get to those spots, they also can use the grappling hook, allowing them to get onto just about any building or place they want to. Besides this class being literally everywhere all the time, I would say it's pretty mid until you get to the later game snipers. Besides the classes, this game also has a ton of vehicles and weapons to play around with. The sandbox is just insane. There's so many ways for carnage to ensue. Seriously though, I hate those helicopter people. They always show up right when I need to bandage myself behind a rock. Why do they do that? One thing I glossed over at the beginning was that this game is 127 v 127. That is pretty insane, considering Battlefield 2047 is only 64 v 64. Oh yeah, and this game is only $15, so your friends have no excuse. And that right there is the power of a blocky game. The resources that could have been used on an overcomplicated art style or muddy graphics were instead used on making the game fun, something pretty rare in today's games. People can say all they want that graphics are everything, but Battlebit is proof that most people don't care when the game is truly fun. I'd like to cover some more blocky games eventually, but I think I've said enough for now. I wanted to make this a shorter video because I think my next video is going to be a bigger project, and I didn't want to leave you guys with nothing for a few months. I'd like to make videos discussing some other blocky games in the future with more depth to them, but this video I just wanted to address them as a thing and make it pretty quick. I've got more planned for the future, so maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more. I've got my socials and stuff in the description if you want some more info on my plans and upcoming stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, have a good one.